Hello. No. Hello. Thank you. I'm not going to stand on this red spot because I'm not a speaker. I'm one of the new hosts. I've done TEDxWolverhampton Women. How many came to TEDxWolverhampton Women? Woo! Absolutely. Badass. And we've decided to do something a little bit different this year. And this is to welcome several speakers throughout the day. So please stay for the whole day to listen to them all, to have more of a conversational approach. So it's to get to know their story, how they've influenced people, ideas worth spreading. Some have stopped, some have collaborated, and we're definitely going to listen. Okay? So the first person that I would like to introduce to you is pretty amazing. Okay? She is from Wolverhampton. Can't do the Black Country accent like Tanya, but she's from Wolverhampton. She's an award-winning founder, a former CEO. She's invented software products and pioneered new technology. The company is traded in over 50 countries, and her business was acquired by US software. She founded the Tech Growth Company and Tech StartUps to support others. She was named one of the Telegraph's most disruptive entrepreneurs. I like her already. She's won West Midlands Women of the Year for outstanding contribution to technology. And lo and behold, in 2012, she was awarded an MBE. Please welcome to the stage, Elizabeth Gooch. Not a lot then.
No. And I'm only 21.
So born in Wolverhampton?
I was, yeah, New Cross Hospital.
And how did that support you to become a disruptor?
I think everybody's against Wolverhampton, aren't they? So you have to sort of fight your corner. And when I'm in the room of a load of city people, because my business was listed on AIM, and you're the one with the Birmingham accent, they all think you're thick. Or with a Wolverhampton accent, I should say, because actually not many people know the difference, but there is a difference. So a lot of people think you're thick, and then they go, oh, actually, you're not. So I used it as my secret weapon, actually. So that was quite handy. It was a mask behind which I could do a lot of listening and then be the smart ass in the room.
So how did you take that disruption of how people perceive Wolverhampton into becoming an MBE and the journey that you've taken?
Good question, actually. So I just like to do things differently and not conform. So, as you know, Dee, I was expelled from school, or at least invited to leave. I think that was the term. It was actually the first time I had that conversation. You know, that conversation, I don't think you're really suited to this, are you? And the answer to that was no. I was studying 3 sciences at the time and I was bored out of my school. Punk rocker, smoking behind the bike sheds, doing things with boys that I shouldn't.
But you're only 21.
Pardon?
But you're only 21.
Oh, yeah. But hang on, we've got a lot of that to go on. So anyway, I just decided I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to conform and go to university the same as everybody else. Bit of a difficult childhood. So off I went to do my own thing, and you know, starting my own business was something that I wanted to do but didn't know what I wanted to do. But I think being a disruptor it's been my life, really.
So expelled or politely asked to leave?
Yes.
How did that ignite you to move on without that academic background, so to speak, to move into such achievements that you've had?
I've spent a lifetime of learning and I'm still doing it now. So it made me fight harder to learn the things that I needed to learn in order to run my business. And the interesting thing is, if I'd gone to university, I'd have learnt nothing there that would actually help me in business. So it's quite interesting. You can go the academic route or you can actually go the business route. So being the person who felt like they had to learn more actually helped me to learn the things that were the important things.
So what are the few things that academia didn't teach you but life skills did?
God, 1,000 things. I mean, managing people, I think, you know, is definitely a skill. Being a leader, teaching you to overcome challenges and to find different ways to look at problems in a different way. To just keep going forward. Finance, HR, technology was not being taught in schools when I was actually at school.
So how old are you?
63.
So we're talking some time ago.
We're talking a long time ago, actually, 3 careers ago.
And the decades that we're talking about, technology in the digital world has transformed. It's part of our digital being now. I'm really afraid of babies being born with a mobile phone inserted in them, but that's just my own concern. But we've got digital generations now that don't actually. I've never had that experience of living without it. Yeah. So being in that tech world and being a leader, getting an MBE and running that support mechanism of helping people with startups, how has it changed, and how has it changed you to be able to support others?
I think the challenges that I've had in life have led me to a career of actually helping others. So, you know, we mentioned, you know, being asked to leave school, having a difficult childhood, you know, contracting rheumatoid arthritis when in year 2000, spending 3 months in a wheelchair. That episode actually taught me to know what it feels like to be in a wheelchair, and the number of people that talk to the people that are pushing it and not to the person that's in it is quite remarkable. So I always make a point of doing that. And although that may not be a business experience, I think it's actually the humbling side. You know, you could easily be quite an arrogant person if you're a successful entrepreneur, do you know what I mean? But I've actually had so many knocks in life, it's kept me, I think, grounded to my Wolverhampton roots. I don't think anybody in Wolverhampton is above themselves, to be honest. So, you know, you start there, and I've stayed in that place because of the knocks in life. So yeah, I think generally I've taken the bad things that have happened, and they've all led me to a place of helping others.
Fab. And one thing that I pulled out of some of the amazing achievements that you had is that your concept of no such word as can't, and if I can, anyone can. Yeah. Tell me more about that.
Well, as you've heard, you know, expelled from school, age 63 now, there's a lot of talk about people can and can't do things and isms, and I've just done it anyway. And I've actually, if anyone's ever said to me you can't do something, I've actually gone, well, watch me. And I would say everyone should do that. Although I have to say, I think I've gone through those knocks in life and experienced it to get here, to actually work out what it is like for people currently, because I actually think it's worse in the current environment that we live in. There's a lot more judgment than there actually was way back in my day, which I don't really like saying very often. But I think then I was actually seen as a bit of an unusual character. You know, A, you're a woman, B, you're from Wolverhampton, and you've got that strange way of speaking. What are you doing here? Oh, that's why you're here. And now I think there's a lot more judgment that's placed at a lot of you know, different walks of life that perhaps are unwarranted.
So your lived experience is that you identify as a woman from Wolverhampton, and females in technology have primarily got a bad rap or have had to really fight and be brave. Yeah. So how did you have the courage to be brave in those spaces? I know you said disruptor, but what other things could you tell the audience to maybe take away with them in relation to being braver in spaces and having some of that psychological safety if you don't feel that you belong?
I don't think I had the psychological safety, if I'm completely honest. My ignorance pushed me forward because I didn't know anything, and that was actually a shield. Funnily enough, in my third career, age 63, I'm more aware and nervous of things than I was previously, and that's because I know what can go wrong. When I was younger, I didn't. But I carried on anyway, and as I said, if anyone said no, then I'd say, well, watch me, find a way. If I hit a bump in the road, it was not a stop, it was a how do I go over it, round it, under it, you know, just find a different way. And I think that's the attitude that everyone should take, is actually to ignore the comments and the feedback and just crack on and get on and do your own thing. And eventually they come round, and if they don't, that's their loss.
So you sound like an incredibly resilient person, but we have different people and walks of life, which is fabulous, and I love diversity of thought. So what type of things could you advise others that maybe don't have that resilient and more introverted potentially in being able to be more of a disruptor?
Well, I'm going to say to you, I'm not as resilient as I look, because I'm actually a recovering glossophobic. And you're going to say, what's a glossophobic?
What's a glossophobic?
What's a glossophobic? It is actually, it's a fear of performing in public, and stage fright is massive. And, you know, so I may look like a person that can come on stage and speak, and, you know, as the others have done here, but actually I've spent probably 3 or 4 years where I've been absolutely petrified to go on stage. And I think resilience is something that you develop. If you listen to it and lean into it too much, it becomes a barrier. But if you've got an issue, I think you have to find a way to overcome it and just keep going forward. My way of overcoming this was actually go on presentation skills courses and learn how to stand in public with actually one of the best presenters in the world, which I did. And he was absolutely amazing, beautiful, authentic, genuine person who, you know, everyone looks up to, but he was really kind. And, you know, find your mentors, I think, is always find mentors, people are willing to help and do that and keep going forwards.
So that leads me on to another point that I've taken from your career. Together we achieve more.
Yeah.
Who are those cheerleaders? Who are those mentors? Who are those people that you've looked towards to take from?
Too many to list. I mean, the very key ones that stand out for me were my first chairman, who is 84 now, and still a friend and still a mentor and someone that I can actually, you know, go to and talk to. But I've probably had 3 or 4 mentors at any one time. But he's actually been the sort of father figure in my life for sure, and someone that I would always go to. He's been the key one.
And have you mentored others?
Oh, loads. That's what I do now. So my third career, business was acquired in 2017, now help startups and scale-ups to grow. My whole life is actually about mentoring others, both as an advisor, as an angel investor, as a non-exec director on their boards, as, you know, someone I'm sitting with outside in the green room waiting to come in here, you know, who can I help? You know, that's definitely what I'm here for now.
And for people in the audience and virtual viewing at the moment, what is a mentor and how would you start going about getting one?
A mentor can be anyone, in actual fact, that has a skill or knowledge that, or even an attitude to life that you want to emulate. So I think if you've got to a point in your life, or, you know, something is going on where you feel I need some help, look around you at who is the person that has what it is that you want, or people, and go and ask them, because a lot of people, if asked, feel very honoured to be asked and are also very kind and very willing to give you that help. And they're out there. You don't always have to pay. There's a lot of people that will actually do it just out of the kindness of their heart. So it's actually the person who has got what you want and, you know, is willing to share it. And there's a sort of spectrum between, you know, coaching and training and mentoring, etc. And a mentor has actually got knowledge that they can share with you, skills that they can share with you, as opposed to a coach helping you find it within yourself.
And something to add there, I think that I say in my professional career is you don't know what you don't know, so be brave enough to ask.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just what are you doing? How are you doing it? Or can you help?
Yeah.
And by having a conversation, you can explore the art of the possible, really.
I think that's key to disruption, actually. If you know things, then naturally you tend to conform with what you know. If you don't know things, you actually find a way to do it for yourself and suddenly find you've disrupted and done something different.
So, a couple more things from me. I've heard you mention previously, appreciate simple things.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know whether it's an age thing or whether it's what we've all been through with COVID, or whether it is just the times that we live in now compared to very materialistic, you know, 80s and 90s, where it was all about what car you drove and what jewellery you had and what handbags, etc. But all of that's gone in my life. I got rid of it all, and I actually have a dog, and I go walking a lot, and actually I appreciate nature. My daughter was laughing at me last night because she said it was a very middle-aged thing to do. I went on a beaver safari. Please don't ask. But I did actually see one.
Thank goodness you said that.
In the middle of Staffordshire, I saw a beaver, and it was amazing. And did you know they're 30 kilograms? They're massive. And it's like learning new things, just simple things, actually gives me a lot of pleasure and a lot of renewal as well when you spend a lot of time online, in meetings, you know, a lot of sort of virtual meetings, a lot of travel, to do very simple things is actually very grounding.
And finally from me, Elizabeth, how did you get the MBE? We understand the career journey. You've told us a little bit about your resilience and that you're a disruptor. But what were the things led to you gaining that achievement?
I've got no idea. I do actually know, but when I actually received the envelope that said you've been invited to would you like to accept one of these and come to the palace, I was actually like, oh my God, it actually brought tears to my eyes. I became what's called an export champion for UK trade and investment, helping other businesses to export, because we'd obviously exported to a lot of of other countries. And on the back of that, they actually put me forward for the MBE for actually helping others and services to industry, basically. And obviously, internationalisation of this fantastic country and our inventions is really, really key and really important. So that's how I got it. The other expression is my B efforts, as opposed to OBEs where it's others' efforts, and you fill in the B word to suit yourself, but that's generally how it was. But I have to say, anyone that's been to the Palace, and I know lots of people from Wolverhampton have, which is amazing, it's one of the best experiences of your life. Every minute, from the minute you open that envelope right the way through to actually attending, is very well organised and beautifully organised, so you have an amazing experience, and it is really, really wonderful.
So the final thing from me then, Elizabeth, as a daughter of this city, what message would you give it?
We are one of the best cities in the country. Go out there and be proud. Don't hold back, and don't let anyone say, oh, it's only Wolverhampton.
Put your hands together for Elizabeth Gooch, please. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.